How do you get the strength in your glutes back?
With those exercises I showed you with box squats and all that, but we're gonna have to back up and do myofascial because we really can't do deep tissue massage right now. We can't put pressure. So when we exercise the muscles, it's putting pressure and strain. Maybe that's not the right word for it. On the muscles. When we strengthen a muscle, we're actually creating micro tears in the fibers, which is supposed to happen. And then when it heals, it's a stronger muscle. But because yours has been, your ligaments or whatever and everything torn, muscle torn, it can't afford any micro tears, is what we're discovering. So for you, it's going to have to be a lot of modified movement, myofascial and lymphatic, or like Swedish massage styles, but nothing that's going to grind into it because it's already chopped up.
Yeah.
In one spot, it's chopped. So we want it to mend itself well. We could probably look into maybe some topical herbal applications or something. We could do that another time or after this. That maybe will help the fibers heal a little more quickly, maybe, or something. But it'll take a lot of, I think, mindfulness around how you're moving, and as it heals, we're gonna change how you're moving again. So if that makes any sense. So we were modified, but we're going almost like hyper modified, so that we can come back to modified and come back to normal.
After you've torn big muscles, how long does it take for you to heal and be flexible? And what's the timeline here?
There's a lot of variables. But since it's been, it was over a year, well, it's been a year almost now since you've done it. You just started too much. I think that maybe, probably in about 6 months, you should be okay.
So a year and a half.
Yeah, it could, because if it was completely busted, yeah, I think, yeah, because you're just now, you started just shy of a year, right? We realized that was too much, so we got to back off a little bit and then go at a little bit of a different angle. But yeah, it's gonna have to be very gentle, as you knew, have to be very gentle and work up to all these things. But yeah, you definitely can still rebuild the muscle and everything. You might always have a modification, but that's okay. Yeah. Who cares? That's great. You have a catered to or tailored to you. So
how do you know that you're doing too much when you're
okay, so when you're doing any exercise or stretch, that's a learning curve there for the individual. So you want to learn for you what fatigue feels like. So too much will feel like, if you've gone too far in a stretch, you don't want to feel anything shooting pain. You don't want to feel that. You don't want to feel any sharp pain. Shooting and sharp is like a quick no. And if that happens, it's okay. Just relax. It's nothing that, you're going to have to tone it down for a little while. But, don't get frightened, but really honor that. That was way too far. And you're going to have to do some rehab, So that's usually when, where the muscle attaches or something that's pulled too far or broke or something, tendons, ligaments and stuff too. So with that said, you'll learn to feel in a stretch what it feels like for the middle of the muscle to stretch. You want it to feel a little bit challenging, but you don't want to keep pushing, pop, so just start real ginger, real light, and then go from there, like, okay, and then gradually every day the range of motion will get more and more, or every week or so, as far as exercise, if you've gone too far, well, when you start using weights and stuff like that, or body weight, even like say a push-up, you'll start to feel shaky. Okay, now if somebody's doing more rehabilitation stuff, you don't want to push through that. But if somebody's doing more bodybuilding, so to say, or there's nothing going on with them, well, physically, they can push through that last rep to get their PR, you know, their max out. That won't be what you all will be doing right now. But so if you start to feel a little shaky, go for it, you know, go for the movement. And say I'm doing a bench press is what I'm doing, or a push up, but then slowly make sure you can hold your form to come out of it and then relax, and that's enough. So you go into the edge, but that's where you build the muscle too. So it's going to be a very beautiful journey, really, I think, of learning what exercise is going to look and feel like to you, because you know, with everything going on, and you know, nobody's getting younger, it's going to be, how gently can I meet that edge, you know, right there, and that's enough. And then being pleased with that, ending on a good note, you know, and then just knowing like that little bit of like that's going to build something,
Yeah,
you know. And, you know, it doesn't have to be like, you know.
how about aching afterwards? Is that normal?
Yes. So when we stretch in different ways, or new ways, or longer periods of time, or we exercise for the first time, or we exercise in different ways, or with a little bit more length of time, or you know, more weight, yes, you will feel sore the next day. If you're feeling like you're not going to make it through the week, that's probably you exerted too much, or maybe something was done incorrectly, or maybe it wasn't a good exercise for you for what you're going through, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't do that right now. So pain and discomfort will be your teacher. I know it sounds kind of aggressive, pain, but pain like the shooting, the sharp, will be like, wow, that's a red flag. Stop, okay, and safely get back to a position where you can go on for the day, or get some ice or whatever, you know, depending on what happened. Discomfort though is okay. So you wake up and go, ooh, you go, oh, I felt that, you know. Then that gives you permission to go, okay, I'm gonna go and look at some of the stretches I'm learning. But oh man, I really worked. It shouldn't be like a but if it's like a ooh, you know, you'll learn the difference between the what is the Family Guy, you know. I don't think he was like, you know, he hurt something, or was that Homer Simpson? I don't know, it was a cartoon somewhere. You'll learn the difference between that and the kind of, it feels so good sore, you know. And you might discover like, oh wow, I can do shoulder rolls. We didn't really do shoulder rolls together, but you go, oh, that feels good, and you can open up those muscles so that you can get the blood flow back in there, and drink water and flush out all the any toxins and stuff in there, and then the range of motion has improved because the strength has improved, and the mobility, it all goes hand in hand. Mobile, strong, open joints and muscles.